A brother's grief. Brother. Oh.
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
Yeah, we all are.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory. An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Mericidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors.
Yes.
With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities.
Yeah.
In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Void Scent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
We know this already, though.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Indeed, I did.
Huh.
I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me. I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength.
Oh my goodness.
I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Alagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust, and the arts to open a void gates large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat-Han was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly, they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Nah. That's why he has the body of a child. Or at least just uses one as a puppet.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale was not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used a simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of void scent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Razathan and abandoning your sister. You chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy siblings scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
I thought our time had come.
As did I. Were it not for Une and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Aw.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With a warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late.
Well, funny story about time in the void.
And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection.
5,000 years here is like probably 10 minutes in the void, so it's fine. We learned that from
So when I sensed intruders in the ruins,
we kind of
came
learned that
only
from the
to
role
ensure that
quest
the gate remained closed.
in
That, and to
Shadowbringer.
secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
Oh my goodness. Thankfully, she sealed it back up. Ooh. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Player managed not only to expand the fissure, but also manipulate it as one might a gate. Astonishing. Is there any chance I could learn more of how this feat was accomplished? I will tell you what I can. First, however, I must return to the High Crucible and arrange to replace the guardians you so handedly destroyed. It will not do to leave the gate undefended. Ah, my apologies. We were perhaps a touch zealous in our rush to uncover the vault's secrets. If the constructs can be repaired, we would be happy to offer our assistance. That will not be necessary, such as I have retained spare vessels, or myself, we keep duplicate guardians on hand for such eventualities. In any case, we shall return to Razahan. So that's how it works. When people get here, when people come to the ruins and get all the way here, I guess he explains to them what it is, really, what's down here, and then convinces them to actually not say anything. Because they said some return but never speak of what they found here. How interesting. It's actually rare, to be honest. I think it's the first time I've ever seen most of the FC, at least the big players, are like big players that normally play all the time on at once during a patch, like at the beginning of a patch, at least this early in the morning, like. I promise, we will discuss the Void Gate further, but first I must attend to the matter of the Vault Sentinels. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Kapikulu has been I forgot to turn that off. Was it Tomb Robbers, fiends born of the Tower of Zot by the sisters? Do not tell me a blasphemy yet roams free. Whoa. And then everybody looks at you. And us. Oh. I'm gonna be the one that say, oh. Why such guilty faces? Surely it wasn't you who were responsible for this. Oh. Well, the details aren't important. I should see it done immediately. And with that, the vault will soon be secure once more. Now I believe you had questions. Quite a few, in fact, but I'd like to begin with the gate itself. It is still functional. Indeed. Which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemically forged lock and warded it with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a loaded door. The little door you speak of leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, in its current state, it would admit only the lowest of void set. And from this side, no man would be able to pass through. No man. I should take Alpha with it given a firm enough push. Physical size is only one consideration. True restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. And yet you exceeded in expanding the diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to the 13th. Thanks to my brilliant alchemist, I should have destroyed the anomaly when I found it. Instead, I bid them devise a means to control it. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which my magics could manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long since been forgotten. Once I had given up searching for Azdaja, there was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus has the gate lain dormant for years uncounted. Our own passage to the 13th was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open the void gate, one bound to a covenant made with the covenant of darkness. Once that sovereign entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken, and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Very likely, it should be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void set, but such deals usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the bounding gate. Maybe you could resume the search for your sister. As I have already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place, my duty is here now. I meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? To see if the legends were true. I just wanted to know. As you have seen, the fabulous wealth from the stories are quite real. If not its rumored origin, but I'm afraid I must assess a prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little. But the time has come to spend it, that I might alleviate my people's suffering. Then we are of one mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? Nope. Don't need it. Kinda need it, but don't need it. You just want the gate. Actually, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I will make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Would that I could join thee in thy study, but the Labyrinths will be anxious to receive my report. Beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlene as well. Mrs. Cryle was eager to speak with you about that request. So please come back to the Annex as soon as you are able. Farewell for now. We can discuss my findings once I return. Do not be rid of me so easily. I don't like this. You may now undertake the Chronicles of the New Era quest series, Myths of the Realms. Speak with the fresh-faced student of the Baldacian Annex to accept for all. The difficult part is, in all this, will be deciding how best to put these riches to use. Will you lend me your assistance in these deliberations? Of course. Thank you, Ronald. Ronald and I are together in this. I will follow his example. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Probably in the void, I'm guessing? Yep. That is FF9 music. Think. No, that's FF4. Oh, is that Golbez? Oh. Oh my god, they're coming. It is Golbez. We're getting the Fiend Lords. The 4 fiends. Golbez and his 4 fiends. It is. That's the only thing. Oh, they're coming. Throne of Earth. I sensed the breaching of a gate, but it was not instigated from this side. It's thrown open from the other. I too felt it. A rare occurrence, yes, but such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. Opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have awaited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip our grasp. Yet we must not underestimate he who bested the cloud of darkness. He was even restrained by a covenant. The cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Let him come. I will drown the world and watch this fleshling gasp for breath in his final moments. Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Think back on our struggle beneath this sunless sky. Remember why we cede not our will to fight. It truly is him. 'Tis time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. So are we trying to say FF4's world was the 13th? Or are they gonna make this a different story? Oh my god! Sharing the wealth. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I would ask you act in my stead. Arnold, you are to visit Akali and Yada. Speak with Matsuya and his people and learn of their grievances. Estidian, I bid you do the same at Palaka's stand. I will be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant's Gall grounds. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Meghatuta. I'm busy. I don't want to answer the phone. I'm not answering the phone. I'm busy. Sorry about that. In the end, I had to take that call. I thought it was my mom calling to annoy me and stuff, but it was something else. Something very important. Thankfully, that phone call resolved a lot of things. So that's this. So let's see what we got here. Going back here again. Matsaya. Oh, Ronald. I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Anything the village desperately needs. Well, I suppose Kazuo's lost hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it is much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives for now. We're just banding together as best we can. Huh. Guild staff. How fares support? Well, it's in shambles. The trade routes are open once more now that the danger has passed, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their shops to make ends meet in the short term. Add to that the sailors we lost in the final days, and it's a little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Casual and his custodians were still with us, I'm sure he would have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that that was a man who got things done. God rest his soul. The Judgemonger. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Fabnair, then you must try my special Arma Lassie. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally, I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil. But for you, I'm willing to go as low to even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. Still not turning a profit these days. Times are harsh, my friends. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sister, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have the coin to buy at local prices, I tell you. If I didn't charge the odd adventure a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps on the street. Jeez. Now the But seriously, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. And it's gonna be crazy because it's part of the main story. It's part of the main story and not the and not a psych story. Oh, it's gonna be even more crazy. So I guess we're gonna looking like the setup is going to be our next adventure is going to take us to the 13th, pretty much, and the void. All indications are pointing to that. My advisors return. I've just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of a time. Be it as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. There are few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people at Pakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources are scarce to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they preserved some assistance from Yaudama. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the likes, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs for the most part. And Stan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself have heard good news and bad. Quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant's gall to a foreign trader, but such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thabnair has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity depended on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any object to the flow of trade so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn of Akia and him? I see, without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch, which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yaman. I'm reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale, repeated over and over. So many lives lost. Wow. Weather all of a sudden just decided to align with this. Enough grief to drown, and if we let ourselves be overcome. But we will not, Ronald. Estidian, I will consider the perspectives you brought me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
I thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamar. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalazar's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. The simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
An orphanage, sanctuary. Oh, it takes a village. Taxes levied on trade profits. Either Shadow's orphanage was funded through trade. Built Firmaments. The firmaments are. They had quite a bit of choices there.
Of course, the revival of trade can contribute to the building of a new institution.
Do we?
Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Don't you dare. I don't want to.
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Narad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Bam, bam, bam. I know. Bridging the breath. Thank you for putting. Oh, wait. Putting forth Kazel's war name. Those whose lives he and Rich will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You'll forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Yustola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your early convenience. Understood. Thank you. Yustola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. I thought this satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been well cogs of this administration since before Ashwin assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish, allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. I like his armor. No. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, this is gonna, Gomez and the Four Fiends is gonna be like a big game changer, especially if since they're part of the main story.
Right, here we all are.
We're all here.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics.
Exactly.
From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first.
Yeah, let's not.
Touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the walls separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voids found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical.
Yeah. And we've seen that
For
before.
example, let us consider the gargoyle, a creature of middling power.
Oh. So we weren't... So this is just an example. That's what this
To call
is.
upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact.
You know what? They've gotten better at their trailers as well. We assumed we would have to come back there. Go back to that dungeon, but...
Gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves
what is
of any
that
one
thing?
mortal practitioner.
What's up?
Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
Oh, yeah.
And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Yeah.
Exactly. For a being to navigate
And
the
we've
chaos
seen that
craft with
plenty
or
of
without
times.
form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Don't pull me into this.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
It's not that much horror.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
So much for taking it easy.
Since when were you one for the quiet life?
True.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands.
Is this gonna be our
That said,
story,
as much as I would
Yastola?
like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daimir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
With Graha's favorite place to sneak around. The restricted area of that one library at Charlian.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlian.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
I mean, that's up to you. I mean, you could have said no, and we would have been like, we would have dropped the issue right then and there. But